How dependent are they on their friends? Many people, their opinions are formed, their beliefs are formed by their peer group. In other words, what do you think? Gee, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Hey? See, their reference becomes their peer group or their family. That's why the mind benders and mind controllers will try to detach people from families, even from friends, or friends will be used in this game. Does that make sense? For example, if you were trying to court someone to marry them, you might become friends with her brother or her father. You see? Entry. And so, what is the reference? Now, ultimately, remember PMS? we're doing it in a reverse scale now. Primitive, mechanical, and subconscious is the spirit control. Okay? Body is primitive, isn't it? Body has primitive functions. This is just clay. Okay? And you can shape it with this. Okay? Your brain's about right here. Okay? On the scale. Okay? So, Kaishin Jitsu. Kiaishin. Remember? Kia! Kiai. Shin. Whoops. Jutsu. Means shouting into the mind. Shouting into the mind. And ultimately, if your frame of reference, pay close attention now, is here, if it's not your culture, if it's not your peer group, if it's not your friends, if it's not society, if it's not pop culture, they're going to be very hard to shout into. So the stronger of a self-reference you get, okay, operating by spirit and the subconscious, the harder it is, I should say, the harder it is for you to be mind attacked, for your mind fortress to be stormed. But you can shout into the mind. And there are ways of doing that. We talked about that. Causing doubt, starting a vicious rumor, getting someone drunk, causing doubt, planting those words, those seeds of doubt. Now, Inyo Jitsu means doubting himself in his world. Inyo. And there's all kinds of ways to do that, so you're going to need confidence, aren't you? Does that make sense? You're going to need confidence. And when this is done, I want you to look back on everything I've told you here and ask yourself, has that been done to me? Oh yeah, you know, I remember when they shouted into my mind. They came up and cornered me in that negotiation. That guy sold me that car that way, didn't he? He got me to doubt myself. He said, come on, man, you're going to look like a jerk in this little car. There's all sorts of ways that you can find you've been manipulated in this fashion within your jitsu, getting you to doubt yourself, to doubt your world, to make changes and adjustments. Yugen Shinjutsu, okay, means hypnotism, subliminal suggestion, like Ross Jeffries talks about. Influence is to capture and lead the imagination. All right, so this would be Huna, NLP, hypnotism. Is any of that valid? Well, the criteria for whether you have a workable jutsu, if you will, a workable way, you can measure through your own internal peace, your own internal quietude, the achievement of the goals by using it, by applying it, and any tool can be used for bad or good purpose. Any tool can be a weapon of good or a weapon of bad. Ultimately, the rule is, don't lie. Don't lie to yourself. Remember the what do you think? Another way of saying that is called social proof. Okay? You get 10 people around you saying, yay, it works. You go, oh, okay, yeah, it works. Hey, that's social proof. What else is social proof? Social proof is loads of testimonials. When I have 8 people in an ad all saying how they love my karate school, social proof. Democracy, okay? Majority vote. Gee, everybody else is going this way, okay? Because unfortunately, we pathetic little humans are social creatures. Now, Kyonin no Jitsu, superstitious beliefs. Kyonin no Jitsu. Superstitious, religion, supernatural, old wives' tales. Now, this is not to say that the supernatural doesn't exist or that religion isn't valid. Because obviously religion has many great benefits. Remember how I said just a moment ago that anything can be used for good or bad. And religion has certainly been used for both as well. But I'm talking about ways to storm the mind gate. Simon Jitsu. And under this we have Satsujin Jitsu, Kiai Shinjitsu, right? Jomon Jitsu. Phrases that evoke patriotism or fear. Wording. It's a very common way that this is used. Now we're talking about Kaionin no Jitsu, which is superstition, using people's superstition against them, right? It's a full moon. Never let a black cat cross your path. So when you know what people's superstitions or religious fears are, you can use them against them. Likewise, when people know what your superstitions or religious fears are, like if you don't wear your scapular and you don't wear your little beads and you don't bow 3 times to the east and every little ceremony you can imagine, people believe that if they don't do these things that they could be cursed, you see. So if your opponent, perhaps he wears a little bead necklace and he has to wear it every Friday and you're in a fight with him and you manage to tear that thing off, or let's say he's the guy at the office that's trying to take your job or out-negotiate you on a big contract, and you just come up and pluck that thing off and start teasing him about it and swing it out, whoop, out the window, all in jest, of course, right? Then he loses, oh no, right? He begins to think he's going to be cursed. You see what I'm saying? That's the idea. I'm just giving you a few random examples. But you can always look at it and say, what does he mean by that? And how can I apply it? See? But coming up and mocking someone, teasing them, oh, is that your lucky cross? Boom. I'm not saying to violate anyone, and I'm not saying to disrespect anyone's religious beliefs. But what I am saying is if you're involved, if you have an opponent, knowing their superstitions and their religious fears can be used against them. And likewise, can be used against you. So I've given you a few examples of just how you can do that. Okay? Jomon Jitsu is phrases or words that evoke lust or fear or patriotism. Jomon Jitsu. And I hope you're writing these down in a notebook and you can go over them. I like to free flow a little bit and take it where it's going of its own accord, because what will happen, and you found this, is that you begin to make it your own, and you go through it and you go through it and you get a better understanding of it than if it's just a list and you read and go, that's interesting. You need real examples. Jomon Jitsu is phrases. What would some phrases be? To evoke patriotism. We want you. Okay? United we stand. You're either with the terrorists or you're with us. See? Or to evoke lust. Ow baby, do me baby. You see? And all of this is an art form. And life itself is an art. So when you master this, you're going to master all of life. Martial mastery. Okay? Now, another important part of the game, it's called Makoto. And you need this. You should write Makoto on your arm right here. And then just look at it whenever you need it. And what it means is that you have a balanced mind in any circumstance. A stainless steel mind, a balanced mind in any circumstance. Why am I writing this out for you? Because I want you to retain it. It's very important that you remember it. It also means purity of purpose. When you become confused or disoriented, when your mind gate is stormed, okay? When you're trying to do 20 different things at once, have you ever noticed that your purpose, when it isn't pure, becomes flawed and things get all screwed up, and when it rains, it really pours, right? So having a purity of purpose, remember the Chinese concept of yi. I want you to do this right now. This will help you tremendously. I want you to put out your arm. Okay? Just put it out there. And have someone come and pull on your arm. Okay? You can kind of resist them and just let them pull it down. Okay? Just have your arm there. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold out your arm and bend your knees, root your feet. Do this. Do this drill. You will see just what I'm talking about. This is very important. If you do this, you'll learn this concept. Okay? You held your arm. You tried to make it strong. You had someone come and pull on it. It was like a little arm wrestle. Now I want you to do this. I want you to put your arm out again, root yourself, breathe into your belly, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine that your arm is a fire hose. And I mean, it's one of those hardcore big fire hoses that takes 12 firemen to hold, and it's blasting water a quarter mile away. Now have someone come and pull on that arm. And you will see such an incredible difference. Incredible difference. That's called yi. Y-I, the principle of intention. And when you have a stronger intention, then it creates more power, more energy, more force, and it just becomes unstoppable. And that is part of Makoto, is having that intention, that balanced mind, and that purity of purpose. One way actually 2 ways to get Makoto. 1, Haragage, meaning awareness. Remember we talked about Zanshin? That's a dominating awareness. That's a vigilant awareness. Okay? And then we have Renkyokin. And that means adaptability. Okay? Awareness and adaptability with the Yi. Okay? Why do you have adaptability? Be like a Marine and adapt. Adapt. A-D-A-P-T, not O-P-T, which is like adopting a kid from an orphanage, okay? Adapt to your environment, to your circumstances. Don't let the circumstances become you, but you get in them, and how do you stop a moving train? You adapt to the train's movement, don't you? So in the same way, awareness and adaptability means a flexibility. Like a bamboo tree, if you take just a dead, dry stick of wood, it's going to snap, but the bamboo can bend and bounce back. Okay? Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So adaptability. This is kind of like the principle of water, isn't it? And adaptability, I just described bamboo, being able to flex. Adaptability, flexibility. It's flexibility, but it's with Yi. So you're flexible, but you're still headed in one direction. Like water. Be like water, Guru says, right? Why? Because water adapts to everything. It adapts to all situations. Water can be crashing and hard, or it can be soft and pliable like a bubble bath. It can be an iceberg. So being like water, that's the purity of purpose. That's Makoto, and it's so vital that you understand and apply this concept. What I'm giving you now is the awareness. I'm giving you the awareness, the first step, the Haragage. Okay, I'm giving you the awareness. Now it's up to you to adopt and apply it to your own life. Okay, let me give you some examples of emotional manipulation. Okay, anger defeats fear, doesn't it? Fear defeats joy, right? Sympathy creates sloth. I know how you feel. I understand it. We let it down, don't we? We let our guard down. Sloth creates fear. Gee, I just don't have it together. See, sloth creates fear. They get afraid. Defeatism, right? Fear creates paranoia, anger. So you can plant paranoia. See what I'm saying? So you can learn all of these things. So when you have awareness, okay, when you have haragage, okay, to master your mind, this will all come together. The mind master, okay, mastery, okay, haragage, awareness, adaptability. You're getting it right now. I'm giving you the information. How will you use it? Okay? You start with a clean slate. You start from a place of freedom. That means all of your hang-ups, all of your stress list, the stuff you stress about, you just fuck it all and throw it away. Okay? Just throw it overboard. Can you do that in your mind? And get rid of every stress and start from a place of total freedom.